Jehovah Nisi, the Lord our banner. Personal sin and transgression is not national sin and transgression. Please write that down. I want to give you a principle to remember. The Creator, from studying history, he has an amazing way to relate to mankind, and it's consistent. He judges human based on the level of their vices. If you sin personally, he will judge you personally. So keep it personal, and then all of us are safe. In other words, if you stay in the closet, then there is closet judgment. So we still safe as long as you stay in the closet. Whatever you're doing, keep it in your private closet. And then you and God deal with that privately. Is it clear? That's how God judges. He judges you based on the level of your voices. But there is a problem when you take your personal sin and promote it to become community sin. That means to make it acceptable in the community. Now God have to judge the community. And if you take the community voice and everybody, doing it in the community, and you decide to make it constitutionally acceptable, which means you make it a national legal activity, now God is no longer judging the closet nor the community. He has to judge the nation, and you live in that nation. So you have a decision to make. It doesn't matter what people are doing privately. You need to decide whether you want that to be nationally instituted. And now we have a national judgment. Many countries, South Africa, passed the law, and they took homosexuality out of the closet, and they make it a national law. America take the closet and they turn it into a country. Jamaica is where I live, and I got a house here, and our children, they born here, and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren and great great grandchildren will live here, God's willing. So I need to decide what kind of judgment I want on my country. Hey, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm a nice person. If you want to get involved in a behavior that I don't agree with, I ain't got no problem with it. Just keep it in your closet. That's all. Don't try to put up signs all over the island to try and convince me to accept your private activity as a public and national legal activity. You know all the dope dealers in your neighborhood. You know them. Tell them keep it in their house. So we need to decide what kind of judgment we want. That's all. It's not that complicated. Private sin, private judgment. Community sin, community judgment. State sin, state judgment. National sin, national judgment. As big as you want to go. Nation sin, nation judgment. The practice of homosexuality, for example, was always in Sodom and Gomorrah. So I want all of you who are practicing homosexuality to understand that you are nothing new. You are boring. Don't walk around as if you have some new cause. It is as old as Sodom. No trophies for you. You are old. If you read the text carefully, it says it became acceptable in the country to the point where anyone entered the country was attacked. God says, I can't judge individuals anymore. You wonder why some countries are now history? You gotta find them in the dust. Do you know that when you visit Rome, you have to walk on broken rocks? The greatest empire in history was nothing but broken rocks. No army never defeated Rome. Rome was defeated by immorality. The Bible said the nation imagined vain things, and he who sits in heaven laughed. In other words, God is watching you on the 3rd of December. God said, let me just watch this. let me see if you think you're sharp. Because I'm going to laugh at you. Because your grandchildren will be in the habit. Some of you listeners have to think about this. Listen, I can't stop you from doing something personally. But please don't put it on me publicly. In Amsterdam, prostitution is normal. Now, you gotta decide whether you want that to be normal in your country. So they pass the law so they could be decriminalize prostitution. In some foreign countries right now, the textbook from 5 to 11 years of age, these books are named, the name of that book, it would be Social Science. And in those books, you will see two men kissing. The drawings, two men kissing. 5 years old to 11 years old. And they will show two women getting married, holding hands. Now, listen, I ain't got no problem with that. But when you start teaching to a 5-year-old, that is called abuse. You are imposing on that child your lifestyle before that child have the ability to determine what is right or wrong, to compare that with any other consequence. Plus, you don't show the child any consequences. You should always put on the bottom of any statement in relationship to that kind of behavior, that lifestyle, that, by the way, you cannot reproduce. So, as a mother and as a woman that represent the kingdom of God, as a mother who have children myself, and I'm talking about not just my own kids, but all of you, I am responsible to making sure that you are wise, because wisdom is known of our children.